There we go.
Okay, there you are.
There we are.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, good.
Good to
Finally,
see
we
you.
got. What's up?
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining.
you bet.
So finally put a face to a name. I know that we've had a bunch of email communication. Cool. So was that your wife I saw, or
Yeah, she was helping me.
cool. Tell her I said thank you for sharing you with the
Yeah,
world.
I will. Well, my hobbies are basically deer hunting. We moved around, so I grew up in North Alabama and then Houston, Texas. Finished high school in Houston, went to college down there, graduated, started with an insurance company, worked for the same insurance company for 30 years, doing safety consulting work for the insurance company until the end of 2008. And they told me at that time that they didn't have a position for me anymore. They let a lot of people go nationwide. So I found a job with the state of Arkansas working at the Workers' Comp Commission. And then I worked for 6 years at another state agency called the Insurance Department, where I did a lot of the same stuff that I had done with the insurance company. And then I retired in 2019 and been enjoying retirement since September of 19. That's about it. I'm not big into super being Superman, I guess. I don't know. I like Spider-Man. He just can basically jump or fly anywhere he wants to and hang on to just about anything he wants to and stuff like that. I had been driving around town one day, and I believe I heard your advertisement over the radio, and I thought to myself, that wouldn't be a bad thing to do. So that's how I got started. I went to the website and volunteered. Then a very short time later, Helen's daughter had contacted you about trying to get somebody to come out and do some work out there at their place in North Little Rock. It's a 20-minute drive for me. I go over there generally once a week now, and you provided me that leaf vacuum, so I use it and vacuum up her leaves. She's got a ton of leaves in the front and a ton of leaves in the back. So that's basically what I do. I do that plus mow her grass whenever it's needed and pick up limbs that have blown down or fallen down to the ground and try to maintain her yard. And that's about it. She get out and work in the yard like she used to, and she really misses the time that she used to do that. But her health has not allowed her to do that anymore. She's 89, and she just basically stays inside her house. She said I walk on water, and
Very nice.
I enjoy doing it for her. I really do. Well, my wife is real big into gardening and flowers and stuff like that. So I've been doing that with her for years. So it was just a logical thing to do for Helen, and I basically had all the tools that I needed to use out at her place or any other place for that matter. You know. Oh, I've been going to her house almost 2 years now, I think. Just some personal satisfaction that I did something for somebody that couldn't do it for themselves, and giving of myself. I'm able to do stuff like this. It's I being outside. Helen and I talk. Generally when I get there for 5-10 minutes, then a lot of times we'll talk 5 or 10 minutes right before I leave. And I honestly think she sincerely enjoys the personal contact, because she doesn't get a whole lot of personal contact with outsiders other than her one of her daughters. I think any skill that I had prior to starting this has been basically stayed the same. I've worked outside mowing grass and cutting limbs and stuff like that since I was a kid. So once you've done raking leaves and picking up leaves and mowing and stuff like that and cutting limbs, I don't know. My wife is real big into making sure the tree in the front yard is cut right, and I would probably rely on her more than anything to tell me which limb to cut versus not cutting. But Helen says, if you see something that needs to be done, go ahead and do it. She's not going to say anything to me if I did something wrong that she saw. I don't think. Well, you sent me one. The lady was in Jacksonville. I went up to her house, and she lived in a duplex that she rented. Time the grass was probably 12 inches tall, 18 inches tall, something like that. It wasn't real bad, but it was, and her lot was fairly flat, so it wasn't any problem with that. And I mowed it, and then uh, I planned on coming back a week or so later, and I got back over there, and she had been evicted. And then one time you sent me this guy's name and number. He lives a little bit north of me, maybe 45 minutes away, something like that. And I just reached out to him and I talked to him. I think one time I identified myself, told him what I did, and I said, if you ever need any help, call me and I'll be glad to stop by and help you out. And I have not heard one word from the guy.
Like that come up.
Well, the lady who lived next door to the lady that got evicted, I told her about what I did and everything, and she was really really impressed. And she said, "Well, I'm gonna let everybody know about you and what you do and everything." And I'm starting to think, "Uh-oh, here comes a landslide of another thing about me." I belong to a group of men through the Catholic Church called the Knights of Columbus. It's a fraternal organization, and we do a lot of volunteering. So, like as an example, around Christmas time, we take a Christmas meal to a bunch of needy families, maybe 10, 15, something like that. And we also take presents. So one year we're doing this, and the lady said, "Well, if y'all hadn't done this, we wouldn't have had Christmas." And she had 4 or 5 kids. So you really get a lot from doing something like that. Try it out, and I believe that you will not regret volunteering. Well, earlier I mentioned I'm a deer hunter. So back in 2019, I planted several chestnut trees, and they're all growing, and but they're not producing. So I've been trying to do research and stuff like that, trying to get them to produce chestnuts. I ran across this advertisement in this magazine about this liquid fertilizer. So I contacted the company in Idaho, and we talked a little bit about the chestnut trees and the liquid fertilizer. And the lady said, "Oh, we got people up here in Idaho that are growing chestnut trees, and this stuff really works with them." So I am planning on using this liquid fertilizer on the chestnut trees in less than 2 weeks, because it said put it on them in early spring. So I'm figuring around the 1st of March, that weekend, March 2nd, 3rd, something like that, to do this. So I'm excited about the fertilizer helping the trees to produce the chestnuts, so I can get deer to come to the area more so than not. Grow a food plot at another property that I have, and I just haven't been successful so far, but I'm still going to keep trying to get that food plot going and the chestnut trees producing. And as another thing, this deer biologist with the state Game and Fish Commission is going to meet me out at my property. I have 9 acres where I just hunt on. Nothing, there's no buildings or anything. It's just hunting land that we bought. The guy's coming the 1st of March, and he's going to give me some pointers about how to improve the habitat for the deer. I honestly hope that he will be able to give me some pointers so I can improve what I have already. It's just, I want to make it so they want to stay there. If I ever have a question to ask you, I will probably email you and do it that way. You've been super in helping me with the leaf vacuum. And when you got me a new bag because the zippers on the old bag were not operating, I thought, wow, that was fantastic. I really sincerely appreciate the assistance. Oh, yeah. And then one time you sent me a gas card to help offset the cost of gas.
Yeah.
I could go to YouTube and find your. Wow, that's awesome.